You know, there's still people arguing with me about the Lennox Lewis Klitschko fight. Shout out to Viking Samurai. Viking Samurai did a video on the actor John Cusack, and apparently he's a martial artist and very good. And I commented that he was at the Lennox Lewis Klitschko fight, Lewis's last fight. I was there, and someone commented that that fight was a joke. Klitschko won, but Lewis was with Don King. Obviously, this dude is a casual because Lennox Lewis has never been with Don King. He's fought fighters that were with Don King. Don King always tried to sign Lennox Lewis. In fact, there's footage of Don King trying to grab Lennox Lewis's arm, and he pulls away from him. I think it was after the fight with Evander Holyfield that Lewis clearly won, so he didn't want any Don King. I remember Don King trying to get Lewis to sign. I think they were both on Jimmy Kimmel, and Don King, you know how he does. He comes in with one fighter, and then he would leave with the other. But, oh yeah, go subscribe to Tim Witherspoon. Terrible Tim Witherspoon on YouTube. He gives lots of great advice. I thought of Tim Witherspoon talking about Don King. But Don King was still, I think one of the greatest promoters as far as bringing in money, stuff like that. I won't get into the other things. But like I was saying, there's people still arguing. I said, yeah, I commented back to the dude. I said Lewis was never with Don King, and the fight was stopped on cuts. And he's like, that's no reason to stop a fight, really? I'm going to give you about a 5-second pause so you can think about your comment when you said a fight shouldn't be stopped because of cuts. I'm going to pause for 5 seconds. Maybe that was time for you to go look it up and see if fights get stopped on cuts. And for people that say, I was at the fight. So for people to say, oh, Klitschko was winning the fight. Klitschko, you have to finish. I believe the scripture says it's more important, something to the effect, it's more important how you finish than how you start. So it doesn't matter if Klitschko was winning the first half, you have to complete the task. What job do you have where they give you an assignment and you start it and don't finish it and they're not pleased with you? You have to finish what you start. And if he didn't finish it and he got cut, then Lewis won the fight. Lewis was starting to come on strong anyway. So I'm not saying it wasn't a tough fight. That and the Ray Mercer fight were probably Lewis's toughest fights. But Lewis won the fight. And Lewis was irritated with Larry Merchant at the end of that fight. It was funny because Merchant kept trying, Larry Merchant. Man, I miss watching Merchant. Jim Lampley and George Foreman. Merchant was trying to say some stuff, and Lewis kept saying stuff like, so I don't know what you're talking about. And then he took the mic. But Larry Merchant rarely bit his tongue. But Larry Merchant, some of y'all talking about like he seemed racist. Larry Merchant wasn't racist. He's like he's like a certain politician that just speaks their mind. In fact, Larry Merchant was talking about the great Rocky Marciano, and he was saying that he felt that one of the reasons he believes he remained undefeated because he didn't fight a lot of the black champions. I think he was talking about Rocky Marciano. But anyway, that's off topic. I like Larry Merchant. Of course, Jim Lampley took a picture with him and Lennox Lewis at Lewis's after party for the rematch with Oliver McCall, payback or playback. And, but all these years later, that fight with Klitschko was what, 2003, 2002, somewhere around there. And you still got people talking about Klitschko won that fight, the older Klitschko. Vitale Klitschko, not Vladimir. But I always thought he was the better of the Klitschkos too. He was very difficult and awkward. But no, Lewis won the fight, and the man that won in the ring won. There was no funny business. He won the fight. You have to complete it. That's like saying a football team that's winning by 30 points and then loses at the last minute to a field goal. I don't want to go there because of the Chargers versus Jags. But Lewis won that fight. And It was a very difficult fight for both men, but Klitschko had like a couple cuts. Like he might have needed plastic surgery. I don't know. But Lewis handled his business inside the ring, and he got the decision. I remember Lewis said a while back that Klitschko had heavy hands, and they're all friends now. But it's these boxing fans that just come along and watch a fighter fight once, and then they give their opinion, and it's just whack. Anyway, this is N.W.J. Thank you for watching LSR Forever. And make sure you subscribe, and let's make sure this page takes off like a car with the brakes off.